This is a Lego Venator, and this is a fake Lego Venator. But which one is better? Hello everybody, and welcome back to Lego Empire. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at a fake Lego set, the Venator, versus the real Venator Lego set. So, without further ado, let's get right into this. So first of all, we'll be looking at the minifigures in the real Lego Venator set. So, of course, here we have two Senate commandos to guard Chancellor Palpatine. Chancellor Palpatine himself sporting a very nice red robe with a red cloth piece, a clone pilot, and a clone gunner. All sporting that iconic and nostalgic Clone Wars animation style. Getting into the Venator build itself, we have a very sleek, very nice looking Venator build, although it is a bit chunky, as many people have said. It really should have been thinner, but again, these are different times. This was around 2010 this came out, or 2008, somewhere in between those timelines, so you can't expect Lego to have everything down. I believe they'd make a much better model nowadays, especially if you look at things like the Imperial Light Cruiser. But regardless, a very accurate and nice looking Venator model. Transitioning to the back, here we have some nice rear engines as well as access to an escape pod. This escape pod was featured heavily in Star Wars The Clone Wars and can fit of a minifigure or two if you could somehow like jam in a battle droid and then a regular minifigure. I bet you could fit them, but the sticker on this makes it look very sleek and has a very nice design for a mini build and a play feature. Now, if you lift this set up with the nicely designed handle, you can use amazing bombing play feature. You just twist the lever and then bombs will drop. The bomb capsule can fit around, I want to say 5 bombs, if I remember correctly, 5 little torpedoes there. Definitely a highlight play feature, especially for kids. Now, a very unique aspect of this set is that it does have an interior to the bridge, which you can simply just pull out to gain access to, and you can put your clone pilot minifigure in the bridge. That is what is depicted on the set box and the instructions, and there's a nice little sticker sheet placed on that part for the computer and controls. It's a small interior, but it is very nice that it is included because it really does not ruin the build and the display aspect of the set at all. What's probably my favorite play feature in the set is the hidden interior cannon / turret that you can put a minifigure on. It is very, very nice. It's hidden there. You just prop up a wing and it is instantly visible. You can turn it around. It would be 360, but of course there is the Venator build to block the 360 aspect of that, and there are also some flick fire missiles on top, so it does count as a play feature that kids can use, other than just spinning around the turret and pretending it is shooting lasers. They can also, of course, use the flick fire missiles, and they work just like so. Definitely a very nice cameo to Revenge of the Sith. What could be counted both as a display feature and a play feature are the turrets mounted on both sides of the Venator, looking very nice for such a small build. Now, to gain access to the largest part of the interior, all we have to do is flip up the Venator, much like the Imperial Light Cruiser that we recently got from Lego, and you have an amazing look at basically Chancellor Palpatine's office on a Venator. You have a nice desk utilizing stickers and other pieces, especially gold parts mixed with red and black, to make a nice sleek look for his desk that looks just like his office on Coruscant. And then you also have a spot for the Senate commandos at the quote-unquote doorway in order to protect Palpatine. Palpatine's chair also spins 360 degrees, and there is a crate behind him that reveals something quite sinister, but we will reveal that when we look at the fake Venator. Now, we will be taking a look at the fake Lego Venator minifigures. So, first of all, we have the clone pilot, which was actually executed very nicely. The helmet looks nearly 100% accurate to Lego's clone pilot, and the torso print, blaster, and everything else about the minifigure looks pretty up to par to Lego's version. But the same cannot be said about the clone gunner. The clone gunner has unprecedented green markings on his helmet. The helmet looks very chubby, and aside from that, he does look alright, but that helmet just really ruins the whole vibe for me. You really can't have a clone trooper with a bad helmet. It ruins the entire figure. But getting into the Senate Commandos, it is actually the exact same thing. All the printing looks nice, except the helmet looks like a really bad misprint. It looks terrible. At least there's no weird markings on it that aren't present on the regular version, but it still does not look nice. Also, a side note, the legs did not come assembled to the hips with the Chinese fake Lego set, so you have to assemble the legs to the hip. And next up, we have Chancellor Palpatine, which actually, much like the clone pilot, looks pretty spot on. The face looks nearly the exact same as the Lego version, as well as the cloth, torso, legs. The legs don't have any printing. There's no back printing on this figure either, much like the Lego version. And the cloth is slightly lower quality compared to the official Lego version. But other than that, you really cannot go wrong with the Palpatine figure and the clone pilot figures from this fake Lego set. The clone faces on these figures are surprisingly good. They actually look very well, perhaps even better than the official Lego faces, which is weird because usually Chinese fake Lego faces look horrid, but I guess when the Clone Wars faces are already cursed by default, they can do a great job, and they do vary a bit by design. The Senate Commando looks a little bit different than the Clone Gunner, and the Clone Gunner looks a little bit different than the Pilot. So they do have some variation there. Now, setting the minifigures aside, we have a pretty similar model to Legos. Of course, it's a copycat, so it'll look very, very similar, except you may notice on some of the parts that they do not look as high quality as Lego, and the stickers do look a bit yellowed and faded, which is unfortunate, but what can you expect when buying a cheap Chinese knockoff Lego set? Now, sadly, one of my turrets for the back of the build were missing. Literally all the parts were missing from that build, so that is very disappointing. But again, when you're only paying, you know, a quarter of the price of the real Venator nowadays, you really cannot complain. And a great indicator that this is not real Lego is there is no Lego stamp on any of the parts, when in reality, real Lego parts have a stamp on every part of them. As you can see, much like the official Lego Venator, some Technic pieces are exposed from the outside display piece, so it is not a perfect model by any means. You can also see some of the thrust from the engines looks like it's sticking out farther than it needs to be, and this is because the engine parts are not designed the way Legos are, and the studs themselves are very hard to get onto the engine parts, much like in M&R Productions videos that are existing of fake Lego sets. He talks about how the studs are very difficult to get into stud shooters, and this is no different, except this time it is with the engine pieces themselves, so I'm guessing the studs from China are faulty in general. Moving around here, we can see the very nice turrets that are controlled from the bridge of the Venator, and they look pretty sleek for a small build, much like the cannons on the back of the Venator, but unfortunately, on one of my cannons, there is a Technic piece, the one that is supposed to bind the two other flick fire missile pieces together, was not in the set. Although I will say the build is not affected that much, it is still doable, just a little off compared to the one on the right side. Much like with the official Lego model for the Venator, there is a nice handle that you can use to pick up the entire model, and it feels relatively safe on the fake Lego model. Once you put it back on, you're going to have to put that cockpit or bridge piece back down over it. It can get stuck under the handle piece, which is not good. That can damage the structure of the bridge, the build itself, and nobody wants that. So make sure you're careful if you are buying either the official or fake Chinese Lego set. Now, sadly, the bombing feature you can use to drop the torpedoes from the Venator does not work on the fake Chinese Lego set. When you first build it and have not assembled it to the Venator, it works just fine, but as soon as it's assembled in the Venator, it no longer works. Taking the bombing bay out, of course, you can see the torpedoes that are in there. There's about 5 or 6 in the entire canister, and as you can see, the bombing feature works flawlessly when it is not in the Venator itself, but as soon as it is in the Venator, it no longer functions. I'm not sure why, but that's Chinese Lego for you. Much like the official Lego model, you can, of course, open up these panels to reveal the escape pod that you can fit a minifigure and a half in if you really do squeeze them in there. Again, very nicely designed. The only difference I'd say between the two models is that this model's sticker does look a bit yellow and a bit faded compared to the Lego model stickers, which like I mentioned before, is one of the only downsides of the actual model in this set. Now, just like every other play feature that the Chinese set copies from the official LEGO set, the manual turret slash cannon design is very, very nice. Works just as intended. The flick fire missiles aren't that hard to fire. You'd think they might be a little bit tightened, kind of harder to get out of there to fire, but they fire like so. And the only aspect of this cannon that is worse than the previous one is, of course, the Clone Gunner minifigure, which is a huge downgrade from LEGO's version, as well as the Clone Gunner figure often falls out of its seat because of the way the hand and the cannon works. The hand does not have any place to go. You'd think it could fit right into the hole provided in the cannon, but it is very hard. You really have to push it in there, and even when you do, all you really have to do to get it out is barely even touch it. You could look at it, and it would fall right out. Taking a look at the fake LEGO bridge, there is a very negative aspect to this part of the build, and that is, unlike the LEGO model, it cannot slide right out of the back for easy access. It kind of just gets stuck. I'm hoping that wasn't just me building it wrong, but I'm pretty sure I built it right, and it is very hard to get a minifigure in there without easy access to the interior. You can see me here struggling to get the clone pilot in there. It really just does not work. So honestly, you're gonna have a very, very tough time trying to get a minifigure in there. I would not recommend it whatsoever. Now, taking a look at the full interior, you just slide it right open, just like the other LEGO model, the official LEGO model. And this is much of the same story as the official LEGO model, but you can definitely notice in here, the stickers are yellowed and faded. And I think that's just how they're made by China. The fake LEGO company really can't make them like LEGO can. And other than that, there really aren't many downsides to this interior compared to the LEGO one, other than the minifigures, of course, because those Senate Commandos are just really not doing it, and you can spin this chair around to your heart content, just like I do in real life whenever there's a chair that can spin 360 degrees. And like I said, here is the crate, and as you will see, there is the early Death Star plans from Attack of the Clones shown in here. I'm not sure, I don't think Palpatine looks at them in the Clone Wars, so this piece is definitely made as a reference to Attack of the Clones, where the Geonosians create the first plans of the Death Star. There is the front and back printed on a red translucent minifigure head, so you can hold the head and the plans in any minifigure's hand, preferably Chancellor Palpatine's, but it is a bit hard to get on, and if you just so much as touch it once it is on the hand, it just falls right off. So for now, I'm just going to set it on Palpatine's desk and hope it doesn't fall out whenever I move this Venator. Now, to address the elephant in the room, should you buy this fake LEGO Venator or any fake LEGO sets? And I think for the minifigures, definitely not. Unless you just want a Chancellor Palpatine and a clone pilot, I'd say no. But as far as the Venator model goes, it is pretty perfect. I mean, really the only faults it has are the faults that the official LEGO set has, as well as the stickers being low quality. If you're looking for a cheap Venator model, I'd say this is the way to go. For a sealed copy of this set in the United States, you're looking to pay around $700 to $900 for a sealed copy of this set. And if you are looking to buy the fake knockoff Chinese version, you're looking to pay around $60 with shipping included, with all the figures and everything. So I'd say if you're looking for a Venator model, obviously it's probably the better choice to get the fake Chinese one. But if you're looking for an actual good LEGO set and you are a LEGO purist, definitely don't go buying the Chinese one, because that will probably rid your collection of that purist kind of status. So I don't think you'd want to do that. Anyway, with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to leave a like and comment down below that you would like to see more videos like this, where I compare the fake LEGO sets to the real LEGO sets, and credits to M&R Productions for the video idea and for the thumbnail inspiration, and I will see you all in the next video. Have an amazing day. Peace out.